All right, let's dive in. Today we're talking about a huge new release that's trying to tackle one of the internet's oldest, biggest problems. Who really owns your online identity? It's called UIID, that's Universal Integrated Identity, and they've just dropped their first stable version, V1. And believe me, this isn't just another software update. They're saying this is the groundwork for a whole new web. So let's get into it.
Yeah, the UID team is not messing around. Their big announcement came with this quote: "The starting gun for Web 4 has fired." And that's more than just clever marketing. It really signals their ambition here. They see this V1 release as a historic moment, the official start of a completely different, decentralized internet.
So what's the big deal about a version 1 release? Well, it's a promise. It means the platform is no longer a beta, no longer just a test. It's a solid commitment to stability, to security, and it's a production-ready foundation that developers can actually build on right now. Basically, the training wheels are off. To really get why this matters so much, we have to look at the core ideas behind it. This is so much more than a new login button. It's about creating a totally new way to exist online, one where you, the user, are finally back in control. Okay, so the whole system is built on this tech called decentralized identifiers, or DIDs. Think about it. Right now, when you log in with Google or Apple, they own that piece of your identity. DIDs completely flip that script. Your identity lives on a secure, distributed network, and the most important part, only you hold the digital keys. No single company can control it or take it away. So how does this actually work in practice? Well, UIID has this really clever two-part structure. You've got your core ID, and then you have aliases. The best way to think about it is like this. You have a permanent digital bedrock, and then you have all these different masks you can wear for different situations online. The real genius here is this clean separation. Your core ID, that's like your unchangeable digital self. It's locked down tight for maximum security, and you only use it for super important high-trust actions. But then you have aliases. These are your flexible, even disposable masks that you create for everything else. This way, you only give third-party apps the exact slice of information they need and nothing more. Let's break this down with some real-world examples. For social media, you might create an alias that only shares your username. That's it. For online shopping, maybe you spin up a shopping alias that shares your address for just one single transaction. The beauty of this is that every part of your digital life is neatly compartmentalized. If a service gets hacked or you just don't trust it anymore, you just delete its alias. Poof. The connection is gone, instantly. You are always in control. All right, now let's get to the part that actually makes all of this possible for developers, the V1 API. This is really the main event of the whole V1 release. It's a stable, secure, and totally production-ready gateway for any app to plug into this brand new identity ecosystem. And here's the great news for all the developers out there. You don't have to learn a whole new, complicated system from scratch. The API is built on top of OAuth 2.0, which is the same trusted framework that tech giants have been using for years. UID just takes that familiar standard and beefs it up with their advanced passwordless security. It's really the best of both worlds, a proven foundation with next-gen protection. True user control really comes from these granular permissions, which are handled through things called scopes. An app can't just ask for access to your entire life. It has to request very specific permissions. And the security is tiered, which is so smart. Look here, a really sensitive action like core.write absolutely requires two-factor authentication. Meanwhile, if an app wants to read private data from one of your aliases, it might need you to enter a PIN just for that specific authorization. The user is always in the driver's seat. So if there are no passwords, how in the world do you actually log in? This is where UID introduces what they call the Zero Trust Handshake. It's a secure and totally seamless authentication flow that's just fundamentally safer than anything we're using today. The magic behind this handshake is something called a Zero Knowledge Proof, or ZKP. Now just think of it like this. You can prove you have the key to a door without ever actually showing the key to anyone. It's pretty amazing. By using a registered device, like your phone, you prove your identity with cryptography. And the most important part, this is huge, is that no password or secret key is ever sent over the network. That just wipes out a massive category of security risks, like data breaches. Okay, let's just quickly walk through that handshake, step by step. It's super straightforward. First, a developer registers their application. Second, when you go to log in, the app sends you over to UID, where you authorize it using that secure, passwordless method. Third, you're sent back to the app with a special temporary code. And finally, the app's server secretly exchanges that code for an access token, which it then uses to make requests for you. And hey, for any developers watching, this next part is absolutely critical. That third step, exchanging the code for a token, all of that happens server to server. This means your application's client secret is never, ever exposed in the browser or on the user's phone. It stays locked away safely on your backend, which is essential for guaranteeing the integrity of the whole process. Okay, so let's zoom back out for a second. We've looked at the tech, we've seen the API, but what does it all add up to? Well, UID's vision isn't just about being another login application. Their goal is to become a foundational standard for what they're calling Web 4. So what is Web 4 exactly? Well, according to them, it's the next evolution of the internet. It's hyper-connected, it's sovereign, and it's a web where users finally truly own their identity and their data. It's all about breaking down the walled gardens and the data silos that we're all stuck in today. And this V1 release is built on 3 core promises to make that Web 4 vision a reality. First, unshakable stability, a bug-free, resilient infrastructure. Second, passwordless security. We're talking absolute protection through zero-knowledge proofs. And third, total user sovereignty, giving you complete and verifiable control over your identity. You know, the digital passport analogy is just perfect here. UID wants to be that passport that lets you move safely and seamlessly across this new, decentralized web. And the key takeaway from this V1 release is that this isn't some dream for the future. The API is live. It's ready for production use today. And that really brings us to the final and most important question. For years, we've been talking about a web where users are in control, where privacy and security are built in from the ground up. Now, the actual infrastructure for that web is starting to arrive. The tools are here. So the only question left is, what are we going to build with them?